5 years ago, after I became a widower, I started to help British families who were trying to stop British social services from seizing their children. Most of these wanted to come to Ireland. Some were coming or on the way. Over the 5 years, I set up a help network here, linked with other countries. And the figures are that over that period, 1,000 families contacted the network looking for help. Of those, we managed to help about 200 families. And 100 families actually came to Ireland, and most of those stayed here and successfully kept their children. Now, in my naivety, I believed at the beginning that our success in the High Court would cause the local social services and the local police to cooperate with us. Because what they were doing locally was, instead of independently examining these parents and making independent judgments, they were trying to do the work of the British colleagues and hunt them down and send them back. But instead of cooperating with us, the exact opposite happened. There was a draconian backlash. And I believe that this backlash was more due to the success we were having, both with the media and especially with the High Court, than anything else. And I'm going to give some examples of this now. Police aiding social workers to go into maternity wards and the labour wards of hospitals and to seize newborn babies from screaming mothers, in some cases with hospital staff looking on crying. A young mother who, after a hostel she was staying in was raided by social workers in Cork, managed to escape out to a laneway nearby with her toddler on her shoulders and ran several miles down a road in West Cork, being overtaken eventually by police in motor cars and on motorcycles with wailing sirens, who stopped her and pulled the toddler from her shoulders. 6 children from 7 years of age down taken screaming from the beds in a campsite in Wexford town by 11 police with tasers, who held the parents while the children were being taken. Up to 40 police with real guns raiding a house in the Midlands, a remote house where a British couple were hiding a newborn they'd had in a secret home birth. The 40 police raiding the house and taking the newborn baby. Some miles to the north in another county, another secret home birth in an apartment. The police entering the apartment, tasering the father on the ground into submission, then handcuffing the father and the mother of the newborn baby, placing both handcuffed in the back seat of a police car with no seatbelts, driving at speed while the parents rolled around in the back, and incredibly bringing them to the nearest mental hospital where they tried to have them sectioned. To his credit, the psychiatrist on duty refused to accept them. Police and social workers calling here to my house to find out if I had British families here, and if I did, to investigate them, or to ask me where the families were. Until I got to the stage where I would tell families who'd call me after they arrived here, I'd say to them, don't tell me where you are. If I don't know where you are, then I can't reveal where you are. Then being subpoenaed to go to the High Court to swear under oath that I didn't know where they were, or that I didn't know where they were, and being ordered to hand over my phone to the police so that the last phone call they made on the mobile, they could be tracked down by this number. Now, while we were still keeping more children than we were losing, these raids on these houses had another perverse effect, because a number of these houses were the houses of the Good Samaritan ladies, all 5 of who were in touch with each other, and they became afraid that their own children or grandchildren would be targeted. So we had no choice but to sadly wind up and shut down the Safe House system. So we lost all 5 Good Samaritans. This meant that we lost the very precious breathing space, the breathing space needed for panicking parents to settle down, get a roof over their heads, get their files out, and give us time to make submissions on their behalf to the High Court. It almost seemed as if the police and the local social workers, determined to do the dirty work of the British colleagues, wanted to make sure that we didn't get to the High Court, because they were aware that when we did get to the High Court, in every case in recent times, the children were kept, or children returned. But if not just if, but when these raids took place, there was usually British social workers standing by in the wings, and the moment the children were taken, the British social workers whisked them back to the UK. In the case of the 6 children taken from the campsite, they were brought back in a van that night on an overnight ferry. Now, the moment this happened, we were completely stymied, because the High Court, even if it made a judgment in favour of the children staying here, the High Court had no jurisdiction over British children already back in Britain, and had no jurisdiction over babies born here who could have and would have been Irish citizens if they were back in Britain and their parents forced to return to them. So we were stymied. So it was quite apparent that by knocking our rescue system and our help system out of action, that would stop us getting to the High Court and getting justice. Now, this was exacerbated in recent times by the fact that we also have in Ireland, and still have, a rental crisis, where not only is our rent's very expensive, it's extremely difficult to find a rented premises. So what do? We had this conundrum. On the one hand, we were finding justice in the High Court, and even managing to, even though it wasn't as easy as in Ireland, even managed to go to the UK and get justice in the courts of London, Scotland and Belfast. How could we resolve this dilemma? Well, what we did was we packaged it. We put it all in a book, an 836-page book called Don't Let Them Take Your Children. Now, this is the book that social workers will not want you to read, because this tells you how to stop them in their tracks, reverse their decisions, and keep your children. Now, if you're worried that you find it a bit overwhelming to read an 836-page book, or if you're not a good book reader, find somebody who reads books. That shouldn't be hard, and they will tell you what to do, and follow the instructions here. I'm going to address the last part of what I have to say to the British and Irish police and social workers, especially to the police and social workers here in Ireland. Did we have to go to the High Court to demonstrate that what you did in seizing children and newborn babies was not right? It was far from noble. In fact, it was dishonourable, and it was cruel. Now, the young lady that you chased on the road in Cork, after you had taken the toddler from her, she said, "I tried to get away from you, but I was no match for you. I hope you're proud of what you did." Well, we were and still are more than a match for you when it comes to the law and it comes to taking cases to the High Court. But we were no match for you when you were snatching newborn babies from hospitals, and no match for you when you were taking children and tasering and handcuffing parents. You had time and money on your side. Our money, by the way, tax money. I certainly did not have time on my side, and at 84 years of age I don't have time on my side now. You were trying to bring in a fascist state in which the state knows what's best for children, and which parents are seen as a threat to children. But we still have a democracy, and we still have free speech. So now you are going to have to deal with this. So now let's see how you get on.